The families of the victims in the synagogue mass shooting are at the federal courthouse in downtown Pittsburgh as a trial of Robert Bowers begins. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Christine Sorensen.
I'm Ken Rice. KDKA is bringing you complete coverage of the synagogue shooting trial, and tonight we have live team coverage from the testimony in the courtroom to the healing happening in the Squirrel Hill community over the last several years.
We begin with KDKA investigator Andy Sheehan, who has been at the courthouse all day listening to the witnesses. Andy.
Well, this trial has been a long time coming, but the events and descriptions of that day are still shocking and extremely hard to hear. After a more than 4-year wait, the government began presenting its case with the tape of a 911 call from victim Bernice Simon, saying her husband Sylvan was shot and bleeding. Shots can be heard and the call ends. Bernice and Sylvan Simon would die in the attack. Tree of Life congregation Rabbi Jeffrey Myers also took the stand, saying at the start of the gunfire he told his congregants to get down and shelter, knowing they were mostly elderly and could not run or escape. In her opening statement, government prosecutor Sue Song described the defendant as a hate-fueled anti-Semite and told the jury she would spare no detail in describing the horror of the attack, including crime scene and autopsy photos, saying it is, quote, necessary to present violence, injury, and death, and the depth of malice and hate, and that can only be shown in the broken bodies of the victims. And in horrific and painstaking detail, she described the killing of each of the 11 victims, each shot at close range, as most tried to hide or seek cover. 6 victims shot in the head, most of them shot multiple times. Through it, the defendant showed no emotion, but some family members of the victims wept. Though brutal, law professor Bruce Ankoviak says the government will cite the cumulative horror in calling for the death penalty.
They need to show that this act was in no way, shape, or form an impulsive act, something that was the result of some random delusion, but a very carefully planned, executed design to cause as much pain, to cause as much death as humanly possible.
To the apparent surprise of the jury, defense attorney Judy Clark began her opening, readily admitting the defendant was responsible for the carnage, saying, quote, this senseless act and devastation was caused by Robert Bowers. There is no disagreement. So you may be looking at me right now and say, why are we here? She said in this phase of the trial, she would have little to say to the prosecution's witnesses. But in the next phase, she would talk about her client's, quote, motive and intent, why he did what he did, and what he thought he would accomplish. Clark then began painting a picture of the defendant as a loner who became delusional with anti-Semitic lies on the internet that Jews were bringing in immigrants, invaders who killed children. In the penalty phase of the trial, Ankoviak says Clark will point to these and other factors, asking the jury to spare his life.
He is a sick and tragic man who should be confined for the rest of his life, but who should not suffer the ultimate penalty of death because of all the extenuating and mitigating circumstances.
Now, Rabbi Myers has completed his testimony and court has ended for today. He concluded his emotional testimony saying, I ask God to forgive me because I could not save them. Reporting at the U.S. Courthouse downtown, Andy Sheehan, KDKA News.
Yeah, a lot of emotions today.